This game was played between Bobby Fischer, who was the former world champion of chess, against Donald Byrne. This game was played on October 1956 in the third Rosenwald Trophy in New York, USA. Donald Byrne had white pieces and Bobby Fischer had black pieces in the game. This game was really popular and was called the game of the century. It is because a 13-year-old boy, Bobby Fischer, with black pieces, played move 17 bishop e6, sacrificing his queen and entering his name in the history books, is why the game was hailed the game of the century and has been discussed in countless chess books. Fischer uses to absolutely destroy any play that Byrne had. This is a masterpiece. Enjoy. Knight f3. Only a grandmaster playing at this level considers this move normal. Most of us pairs try to stake pawns in the center right away. Knight f6. Repeating kind, it is noted that with the black pieces, Fischer tried to castle kingside early, and this move aids that idea, as well as exerting influence in the middle. c4, going for a quick queenside expansion right away. I guess the d and e pawns haven't quite learned to walk yet. g6, and the plan of Fischer is obvious. Bishop to g7 and castling on next. Surprise there. Knight c3. Simple development. Bishop g7. d4. Castle kingside. Bishop f4. More developing, getting the dark squared bishop outside a potential pawn chain. d5. Fischer finally stakes a claim in the center. Queen b3. I see moves like this when I play stronger players. Myself, I can only assume the intent is to tie down black's light squared bishop in a protective role, while protecting the c-pawn and getting an early line aimed towards black's king. d takes c4. Queen takes c4. c6. I guess this is why I will never break 1600. This move makes little sense to me. Black's knight b8 has just lost a potential home. e4, and it appears that Byrne owns the center. Knight b d7, and now Fischer blocks in his light squared bishop. I wonder if he really knows how to play this game. Rook d1, strong rook to half open file and protecting the d-pawn. Knight d6. And here come the pain. I guess Fischer does know a little something about this game. Queen c5. I like queen d3 better. Bishop g4. Last piece developed with a nice little pin to boot. Bishop g5. Mistake. Bishop e2 was far better as it would break the pin. Knight a4. The white queen now has some serious issues. Queen a3. Knight takes c3. b takes c3. Knight takes e4. This turns out to be a key move in the game. That knight is righteous and will soon cause serious upheaval in white's defenses. Bishop takes e7, practically forced. Queen b6. Bishop c4. Byrne now entertains the idea of getting his knight to e5 or g5. Knight takes c3, weakening the d-pawn, and seeing play down the e-file. If white takes, then the b7 is pinned against the king next move. Bishop c5, white counters, attacking the black queen. Rook f e8 check. King f1, king d2, loses either the bishop on c5 by knight e4. Bishop e6, stopping any idea of a sacrifice on f7, and seeing that after a queen sacrifice, black can take c4 with check. Bishop takes d6. Bishop takes c4, check. Can you see what black's knight is thinking? King g1. Knight e2, check, and the swinging door opens. King f1. Knight takes d4, check, and closes. King g1. Knight e2, check, and opens. King f1. Knight c3, check, and closes. King g1. A takes d6, gaining the bishop while attacking the queen. Queen b4. Rook a4, preserving the strength of black's light-squared bishop. Queen takes d6. Knight takes d1. Notice the position. Black has 5 pieces working collectively, while white has a lonely queen attacking. Nothing of value, a knight tied down protecting e1, and a rook who was put a do not disturb sign on his door. h3, a last chance effort to free the rook is coming. Rook takes a2, grabbing yet another pawn for free if the king budges. King h2. Knight takes f2. Rook e1. I have no idea. Why white would instigate a trade here? I guess he's trying to find a way to coax out the bishop g7 and attempt a free move repetition. Rook takes e1. Queen d8 check. Bishop f8. Fischer ain't having it. Knight takes e1. Bishop d5. Another great move. It points the bishop towards white's king, while blocking the white queen from retreating back down the d-file to defend. Knight f3. Knight e4. Not willing to give up the bishop d5 under any circumstance. Queen b8. Why not? Maybe Bobby will have a heart attack and lose all touch with reality. b5. Anybody else notice that besides having an awesome attack underway, he also has to connect it past pawns? h4. Kind of pointless. h5. Knight e5. This move was made due to lack of options. King g7, putting the white knight at least 3 moves away from delivering a check, while freeing the dark-squared bishop. Great patience by Fischer. King g1. Bishop c5 check. Byrne's inner vocabulary was probably insulting to Fischer's mother. King f1. Knight g3 check, and father. King e1. Bishop e4 check, and siblings. King d1. Bishop e3 check, and extended family. King c1. Knight e2 check, and dog. King b1. Knight c3 check, and the guy who cut Bobby's suits. King c1. Rook c2 checkmate, and there you have it, an absolute masterpiece of attack. I've never seen a game like it. That guy sure could play. I hope you have enjoyed the game, and I welcome any feedback you may have.